So now I'm going to segue and talk a little bit about Smartlipo laser-assisted lipolysis. So this is an additional opportunity to have some body contouring, but will apply to the other areas. So I just said that cool sculpting is great for all areas on the trunk. So Smartlipo affects is good for underneath the chin, under the arms, the legs, and also is really good for skin laxity. So we see that in a couple places. Necks especially, gravity only works one way, and that's down. So necks over time tend to really lose a lot of their elasticity. So this is a great way not only to maybe change the amount of fat in your neck, but also do some tightening, and abdomens as well. In the Bay Area, I think we all know lots of 40-year-old women that have twins. And so because their bellies get very stretched out, that skin just doesn't recoil terribly well, so they have excess skin on top of some fat that they want to do. And Smartlipo gives us an opportunity to change that. So how this procedure works, this is not a non-invasive. So the cool sculpting is a non-invasive procedure. Smartlipo is a minimally invasive procedure. This means we do need some anesthesia. It's local anesthesia. It's not general. You're not in a hospital. You're in my office. We do some local numbing. And then I make 2 small incisions, and we insert a very small cannula, it's 1 to 2 millimeters, under the skin, through which I pass a fiber. The fiber carries some laser energy. The thing that's great about this particular procedure is that there are 3 types of wavelengths that are passed through this energy, through this cannula. One wavelength melts fat. One wavelength coagulates blood vessels, and one wavelength stimulates collagen and in fact shrinks skin from the backside. So it tightens skin. So the benefits of Smartlipo, Smartlipo you can really compare directly with liposuction. I think that is obviously the procedure we've had the longest for body contouring. We've had liposuction for about 30 years. There's been nothing new in body contouring until the past couple years, where we now have Smartlipo and cool sculpting. I think you can compare these head to head. The advantage, though, is that rather than have to go in the hospital, have general anesthesia, there's a lot less downtime, less bruising and swelling, much quicker recovery time, and you can't get that skin tightening that you just can't get with traditional lipo. So here's some before and afters of Smartlipo. Again, this is where we have an opportunity to address the neck. So obviously the woman on the right has a much nicer profile, right? Looks prettier. She just had a little bit of fat removed. A couple tablespoons of fat has sort of made all the difference for her. Same thing, girl on the left, look how pretty she looks on the right. She looks young, she looks pretty. All she had was a little bit of fat removed from underneath her chin, and the skin tightened. This is probably my favorite slide. The woman on the right, besides for looking prettier than the woman on the left, looks about 30 pounds thinner and about 15 years younger. She had a treatment on her neck where a little bit of fat was removed and her skin was tighter, but she looks thinner, younger, prettier. Thinner, younger, prettier. Magic triad. Sign me up. This is a woman who's a little bit older, who doesn't really have a lot of fat, but she's starting to get that laxity, right? That jowl underneath her neck, that turkey neck, that so many women hate. So all she's had is her skin tightened. And now she has a really pretty profile just from losing that little bit of extra skin underneath. This woman had a lot of fat underneath her neck. Her skin was all right, but having the fat reduction has really changed her profile. Again, she looks thinner. She hasn't lost any weight, but she looks a lot thinner because of the change of the shape of her neck. So this is a woman who has a lot of sun damage and lost a lot of elasticity in her neck, doesn't really have any fat, really just needs to have her neck tightened. And that's all that was happened here. So in this case, we don't remove any fat, we don't suck any fat out, we just tighten the skin from the back, and obviously she has a much nicer draping of her skin on the right. Arms, Smartlipo is great for arms. The thing is with arms is not only to tend to gain a little weight there, but the skin, same thing, gravity down, tends to stretch out a bit. So here's a great way to remove fat from the arms, but also do a little bit of tightening. So here's a before after of a woman. The only thing that's changed is her arms. So she's had Smartlipo on her arms, but look on the bottom, she looks way thinner. Although she's not really thinner, just her arms had a little bit of fat removed. Smartlipo is also a chance to address the lower extremities, the legs. So this woman had fat removed from her inner and outer thighs. What I like about this is not only does she look much thinner, she looks much younger. On the right, she has a 20-year-old body, doesn't she? That's what a 20-year-old body looks like. On the left, she's starting to look like she's in her mid-30s, maybe 40, because of the way her fat is accumulates. So when we, again, that whole principle of body contouring, when you change your shape, just to change the pockets of the fat a little bit, changes your appearance. You look thinner, but you also can look younger and prettier. Again, this woman has Smartlipo, a little on her abdomen, thighs, and hips. And this is for the pregnant woman who had a baby or two and now doesn't have a whole lot of fat, but really has too much skin laxity. So what she really needed was mostly for her belly to be tightened. So the alternative, up until now, would not have been liposuction, would have been a tummy tuck. So she would have had to go into a hospital, have major surgery under general anesthesia, have a big scar across her belly. But now you can barely see, she has one little tiny incision scar right there. That's it, no other scar. And has a nice tight belly. Nice to have kids, just don't need the sign of the kids on your body. Okay, so the areas best addressed by Smartlipo are the fat of the neck or just skin laxity under the neck, upper arms, abdomen, especially if you have the laxity, the skin laxity, hips and flanks, and then the inner and outer thighs. So, to summarize, I think that both Cool Sculpting and Smartlipo are pretty exciting opportunities to change the way that you genetically put fat on, change your body distribution and fat pockets, minimal downtime, and results are permanent.